Pain is not your enemy. Pain is the forge. Most men today are taught to run from pain, to drown it in distractions, to numb it with comfort, to silence it with temporary pleasure. But the truth is brutal and undeniable. The man who avoids pain also avoids greatness. Real strength, the kind that cannot be taken, faked, or destroyed, is not built in noise. It is built in the silence of suffering. In the nights when you sit alone facing your broken dreams. In the mornings when you rise with nothing but cold anger inside you. In the lonely battles no one sees, no one praises, no one understands. Pain is the architect of the unbreakable. It strips away the illusions you once worshipped. It burns away the weakness you once protected. It kills the boy inside you so the man can rise. True strength is not given, it is earned in blood, in silence, and in endless confrontation with your own limits. In the silence of pain, there are no lies. No masks, no applause, only you, and the raw reality of what you are and what you are not. And if you can stand that silence without breaking, if you can embrace it, welcome it, love it, then there is nothing the world can ever take from you again. The strong man is not loud. He doesn't seek pity. He doesn't explain his scars. He carries them like armor, silently walking forward without fear. Pain is your teacher. Silence is your sanctuary. Strength is your destiny. Embrace pain, build in silence, become unstoppable. In the modern world, the sense of entitlement is rampant. People believe that the world owes them something: a perfect life, a flawless career, constant happiness, and unconditional respect. We are taught to demand, to expect, and to feel disappointed when things don't go our way. But Stoicism shatters this illusion brutally and with absolute clarity. The Stoic perspective is harsh but freeing. The world owes you nothing. No one owes you success. No one owes you happiness. And no one owes you recognition. The only thing that is truly yours, the only thing you can control, is your response to the world. The entitlement mentality breeds frustration. It leads to resentment when things don't unfold as you wish. It feeds off weakness, and it thrives in a society where instant gratification is the norm. But Stoicism doesn't just reject this, it forces you to confront it head-on. Here's the brutal truth: entitlement is the root of your suffering. The more you believe you're owed something, the more you expose yourself to constant disappointment. No one can give you the peace and satisfaction you crave, because you believe it's owed to you. Instead of expecting the world to give you what you want, Stoicism teaches you to take responsibility for your own peace of mind. It teaches you to accept what is outside of your control and focus on what you can shape: your attitude, your actions, and your inner strength. When you stop thinking the world owes you anything, you stop living in the shadow of disappointment. You embrace reality not as an enemy, but as a challenge that you can meet, not with whining and demands, but with action and self-control. This doesn't mean you stop striving for greatness or giving up on your goals. On the contrary, Stoicism encourages you to strive harder, to push further, but with the understanding that nothing is owed to you. The success, the recognition, the wealth, they are earned, not expected. In short, the world doesn't owe you anything. And the sooner you accept this, the sooner you can unlock true freedom. Instead of waiting for the world to deliver, you start to create, to build, to rely on your own power. This is how Stoicism destroys entitlement. Why entitlement is the enemy of growth. Entitlement is a virus that corrupts the mind. It tells you that you deserve things simply because you exist. It ignores the reality that life is earned through hard work, sacrifice, and relentless pursuit. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca constantly reminded themselves that they were not entitled to anything. The only thing they could control was how they responded to life's challenges. When you believe you're entitled to success, relationships, or happiness, you feed into a sense of victimhood. You're always waiting for something external to change. something external to fulfill you. But the real power lies in shifting your focus inward, in realizing that you control your own fate. The trap of expectation. Expectees are dangerous. They leave you vulnerable to the winds of fate, always hoping, always waiting. But Stoicism teaches us to let go of expectations and replace them with acceptance. It's not about passivity, it's about active resilience. Instead of feeling entitled to the world's fairness, learn to take responsibility for the only thing you can control: yourself. When you do that, the world stops being a place of entitlement and disappointment and becomes a landscape of opportunity, where everything that comes your way is earned and worked for. Conclusion: when you stop believing the world owes you something, you stop living in frustration and start living in freedom. Entitlement chains you, keeps you waiting for someone else to change. But the Stoics have shown us that true freedom comes when you realize the world owes you nothing. Once you understand that, you begin to take full responsibility for your own life. You stop waiting for things to happen to you, and you start making things happen for yourself. You become the creator of your destiny, not a passive spectator. Embrace this lesson and watch how your life transforms. You will no longer live as a beggar waiting for crumbs. You will stand tall as a man who demands nothing, but works tirelessly to create everything. You are your own master. The world owes you nothing. And that, my friend, is where true strength lies. This idea really speaks to the Stoic principles of accepting what you can't control and working relentlessly on what you can. The world is harsh and often unfair. But instead of expecting it to change for us, Stoicism teaches us to change ourselves, adapt, and thrive in an unpredictable world. Detach or be destroyed. Mastering the Stoic art of letting go in the chaos of modern life. It's easy to become attached. We attach ourselves to relationships, success, status, and even comfort. We tell ourselves that these things define us, that we need them to feel secure, to feel whole. But in reality, these attachments are like chains holding us back and making us vulnerable to the forces beyond our control. The Stoic call to detachment. Ancient Stoics understood this truth better than anyone. For them, the art of detachment wasn't about turning away from the world. It was about transforming our relationship with it. It's not about rejecting everything or abandoning the people we love. It's about recognizing that attachment to things outside our control is a direct path to suffering. Why attachment hurts. Live in a world where everything is fleeting, where even the strongest relationships can be shattered, where careers can be upended, and where success can vanish in an instant. Yet, we often continue to attach our happiness to these external factors, believing that they are what complete us. But this attachment brings constant anxiety and fear, fear of loss, fear of failure, and fear of abandonment. The more we hold on, the more we risk being destroyed when we inevitably lose what we hold dear. Stoicism teaches inner peace. Stoicism teaches us that our peace and happiness must come from within, not from the world outside. If we attach our identity to the temporary, we will constantly be tossed around by the winds of fate. But if we detach from the outcome, we can find peace no matter what happens. True strength comes not from holding on tightly to what we have, but from the ability to let go. The power of letting go. True strength comes not from holding on tightly to what we have, but from the ability to let go. This is not about being emotionless or indifferent. It's about understanding that life is constantly changing, and nothing is guaranteed. Instead of living in fear of loss, we can learn to embrace the uncertainty of life. Embrace the uncertainty. When we practice detachment, we free ourselves from the emotional roller coaster of life. We stop fearing what might be taken from us, and instead, we start living in the present. Fully engaged in the moment, we enjoy the good things we have without becoming obsessed with them, knowing that their value does not define us. Stoicism and the art of letting go is not easy. It requires deep discipline, self-awareness, and a willingness to face discomfort. The Stoics practiced this detachment every single day. For instance, Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic emperors, wrote in his Meditations that we must constantly remind ourselves that everything we love is temporary, and that nothing belongs to us forever. The Stoic test, how to let go detachment, is not just a philosophical ideal. It is a practical tool for living a stronger, more resilient life. Here's how you can begin practicing Stoic detachment in your own life. Identify your attachments. Take a hard look at your life and ask yourself, what am I attached to? Is it a person, a job, a certain image of myself? Recognize that your happiness doesn't lie in these things. Accept impermanence. Nothing is permanent. People leave. Careers change. We age. Accepting this truth will help you detach from the idea that your life depends on anything external. How to let go? Practicing detachment. Focus on your internal strength. The only thing you truly control is yourself. Work on your character, your mindset, your discipline, and your inner peace. These are the things that will carry you through any storm. Practice gratitude. Instead of clinging to what you have, learn to appreciate it for what it is, a temporary gift. Be grateful for the present moment, not for the things in it. Embrace discomfort. Detachment means letting go of comfort. It means accepting pain, failure, and loss as part of life. The more you embrace discomfort, the more resilient and strong you become. The consequences of attachment. Imagine a man who has everything, wealth, status, and a family, but his happiness depends on maintaining that perfect life. One day, he loses it all. His business fails, his marriage falls apart, his health deteriorates. His identity was attached to those things, and now that they're gone, he feels as though he has lost himself. He is destroyed. Stoic detachment versus attachment. Now imagine the Stoic who has lived his life understanding that nothing in the external world is permanent. When he loses everything, he doesn't crumble. He faces the reality, adjusts, and moves forward. His identity is internal, not tied to the temporary world around him. This is the power of Stoic detachment. It saves you from the destructive force of attachment. It allows you to survive the hardest of times and still retain your strength. Conclusion. Detach to survive. In the end, detachment is not about pushing away or rejecting life. It's about embracing life fully, knowing that all things will eventually pass. If you can master the Stoic art of letting go, you will find yourself more powerful than ever before. You will not fear loss, because you will no longer depend on external things for your happiness. Detach or be destroyed. Instead of being destroyed by attachment, you will be free. You will rise above the chaos, unshaken and unbroken, and in that freedom, you will find true strength. A strength that is built in the silence of your own mind, not in the fleeting pleasures of the world around you. The choice is yours. Modern weakness. How comfort is killing the modern man in today's world. Men have become slaves to comfort. We seek pleasure, ease, and convenience at every turn. The hustle of everyday life is softened by technology, automation, and the luxuries of modern living. We are told to relax, take it easy, and enjoy the comforts of life. But what if comfort is the very thing that is slowly destroying us? The illusion of comfort. We often mistake comfort for happiness, believing that a life free from stress and struggle is the ultimate goal. But this desire for ease leads to weakness. We avoid discomfort, which is necessary for growth. Without challenges, there is no development. Comfort breeds complacency, and complacency kills ambition and strength. A man who lives for comfort becomes weak, mentally and physically. The root of modern weakness. Modern men have lost the hardness that once defined their character. We live in a world where everything is provided for us, from food to entertainment to information. The struggle that once shaped our ancestors is gone, and with it, the resilience, that comes from overcoming adversity. We no longer face the same challenges, and as a result, our mental and physical toughness is deteriorating. The true cost of comfort. While comfort may feel good in the moment, it comes at a high price. The modern man sacrifices his physical strength, mental clarity, and emotional stability for the sake of ease. Over time, this leads to a sense of emptiness. A man who is constantly seeking comfort loses his ability to push himself, to fight, to overcome obstacles. His life becomes stagnant, and his potential is wasted. Comfort versus growth. Greatest growth comes from discomfort. True strength is forged in the face of adversity. When a man is forced to work hard, face challenges, and endure pain, he becomes stronger. Comfort, on the other hand, leaves a man soft, unprepared for the harsh realities of life. It's in the struggle that men discover their true potential. Comfort leads to weakness, and only through pushing past it can men reclaim their strength. The cycle of weakness. Today's modern world traps men in a cycle of weakness. They consume to numb themselves, using distractions and indulgence to avoid the reality of their weakness. But this is a vicious cycle. The more comfort they seek, the weaker they become. The more they avoid discomfort, the harder it becomes to break free from this pattern. The only way out is through self-discipline and a commitment to hardship. Breaking free from comfort. To break free from the chains of comfort, men must learn to embrace discomfort. This means pushing themselves physically, mentally, and emotionally. It means resisting the urge to take the easy path and instead facing the challenges that build strength and character. The modern man must learn to find satisfaction in the struggle, in the process, and in the discomfort that leads to true growth. The path to true strength. True strength is not about avoiding discomfort. It's about facing it head-on and using it as a tool for growth. Men must seek out challenges, take risks, and embrace the grind. By doing so, they will reclaim the strength and resilience that has been lost in a world obsessed with comfort. Conclusion: strength through discomfort. Modern world offers men a life of ease, but at a dangerous cost. Comfort is killing the modern man, stripping away the toughness and resilience needed to thrive. To reclaim strength, men must reject comfort, embrace discomfort, and push themselves beyond their limits. Only then can they become the powerful, resilient men they were meant to be. Die before you die. How to achieve ultimate freedom. True freedom starts with a mental death. Let go of attachments, fears, and desires, and you'll find the path to ultimate freedom. When you stop identifying with your past and future, you free yourself to experience life as it truly is, unfiltered and without limits. Break free from fear of death. Fear death, but we should fear living in fear. Living in pursuit of wealth, status, or validation only leads to more suffering. Freedom comes when you detach from the illusion of control. Let go of these external markers of success, and you'll experience true liberation. The power of detachment. Freedom is not about escaping life but embracing its impermanence. By releasing attachments, whether to identity or possessions, you free yourself to live without fear. This detachment is essential for breaking free from societal expectations and truly living on your own terms. Embrace the present moment. When you detach from past regrets and future anxieties, you unlock the present moment. This is where life truly happens. Living in the now frees you from the chains of time and expectation, allowing you to embrace life without the burden of what came before or what might come next. Living without fear or attachment. Letting go of fear and attachment gives you the freedom to live fully. You transcend the endless chase for approval, control, and material wealth. Ultimate freedom comes when you stop seeking things outside yourself and realize that you are enough as you are. Why love is a trap. The Stoic view on emotional slavery. Love, in its conventional form, is often seen as the ultimate goal in life. However, from a Stoic perspective, love can become a trap. When we allow ourselves to become emotionally dependent on another person, we surrender our freedom. Our happiness is no longer in our hands, but is tied to someone else's actions and feelings, making us slaves to emotions. The Stoic principle of detachment. Stoicism teaches that true strength lies in emotional detachment. Love, as most people experience it, is often driven by attachment, the belief that we cannot be complete without another person. The Stoic view encourages us to love without clinging, to cherish others without losing ourselves in them. This detachment doesn't mean rejecting love, but instead recognizing that our peace comes from within, not from external validation. Embracing freedom through emotional control of, when not mastered, leads to pain, jealousy, and control. Emotional slavery occurs when we become addicted to the highs and lows of relationships. Stoicism advocates for emotional control, teaching that we can love deeply without being ruled by it. Freedom lies in being independent, not letting any external force, especially another person's emotions, dictate our inner peace. Pain is the currency of greatness. Stop running from it. Pain is often seen as something to avoid at all costs. Society pushes comfort and ease, making us believe that avoidance of pain is the key to happiness. But what if pain is not the enemy? What if it is, in fact, the price we must pay to achieve greatness? True strength isn't born from comfort, but from the struggles and sacrifices we endure. The Stoic approach to pain. Stoicism teaches us that pain is inevitable and even essential. Instead of running from it, we should embrace it. Pain, in its many forms, is an opportunity for growth and self-mastery. It forces us to confront our weaknesses, test our limits, and rise above them. The Stoic mindset shifts our perspective, seeing pain not as a hindrance, but as the very thing that builds resilience and character. Greatness demands sacrifice. Every successful person, every true leader, has faced pain in one form or another. Greatness is not achieved by avoiding hardship, but by embracing it. You cannot build your empire without first enduring the struggles of its construction. Pain is not just a part of the process, it is the currency we pay to reach higher levels of achievement. By facing it head-on, we transform our pain into strength, wisdom, and power. Rejection is power. How Stoics turn failure into fire. In a world obsessed with success and approval, rejection feels like the ultimate defeat. It's something we desperately want to avoid, something that wounds the ego and threatens our sense of worth. But the Stoics understood something critical. Rejection isn't a failure, it's an opportunity. Every rejection, every setback, is fuel for the fire of growth and resilience. Embrace rejection, embrace strength. Stoics didn't just accept rejection, they welcomed it. They recognized that failure and rejection are inevitable parts of life, and instead of running from them, they chose to face them head-on. By embracing rejection, we can learn to separate ourselves from the opinions and judgments of others. We stop seeking validation from the outside world and start cultivating an inner strength that cannot be easily shaken. Turning failure into fire. When faced with rejection, we have two choices. We can crumble under the weight of it, or we can use it as fuel for our journey. The Stoic approach teaches us to transform pain into power. Every no we hear, every door that closes, is an invitation to rise stronger and more determined. Rejection doesn't define us, it ignites the fire that drives us toward greatness. Every failure is a lesson, a tool to sharpen our resolve and our character. Silence over sympathy. Why a Stoic man speaks with action. In a world where words are thrown around carelessly, action speaks louder than any sympathy. The Stoic man doesn't seek validation or comfort through empty words or gestures. Silence becomes his tool, his weapon, his shield. Instead of offering empty sympathy, he shows the world his strength through his actions. Stoicism teaches that true power lies in what you do, not in what you say. The power of silent strength. Stoic man doesn't waste time talking about problems. He solves them. In moments of hardship, he doesn't look for sympathy or approval. He looks for solutions. Silence to him is not emptiness, but a space for action. When the world expects him to speak, to cry out, he chooses to act because actions are the only things that bring true change. Words are fleeting, actions leave a lasting impact. Words are weak, actions are power. In today's society, people often mistake sympathy for strength. But the Stoic understands that offering sympathy without real action is hollow. It doesn't help. Instead of comforting others with meaningless words, a Stoic leads by example. His actions inspire, his behavior teaches. Sympathy is fleeting, but the impact of action is timeless. A Stoic man speaks not through sympathy, but through powerful, purposeful actions that speak volumes. Own nothing, fear nothing. The Stoic blueprint for invincibility. Stoic philosophy teaches a radical freedom, the idea that by owning nothing, you fear nothing. Most people tie their sense of self-worth to their possessions, relationships, or status. But the Stoic man understands that these things are temporary and can be taken away at any moment. True power lies in the freedom from attachment. By not owning anything, you become invincible. Freedom from attachment. When you cling to things, you are at the mercy of their loss. Loss breeds fear, fear of the unknown, fear of being without. A Stoic man does not fear loss because he does not attach himself to possessions or desires. His strength lies in his ability to let go. He knows that real power comes not from what you own but from what you are willing to release. Invincibility through detachment. True invincibility comes from within. By detaching yourself from external circumstances, you become immune to the forces that seek to control your happiness. When you own nothing, no material thing can be used against you. You are free from the chains that hold others captive. A Stoic man is invincible because his strength lies in his detachment, his freedom from fear, from loss, and from need. Nothing external can defeat him.